But let's stay with Tony Burke for a second, because you'd think discovering that regular Gazans were supportive of Hamas might give Tony Burke pause when contemplating the recognition of a Palestinian state. But not so.
No, Tony Burke told Sky News this morning that Australia could recognise Palestine even while Hamas was still governing some of its territory.
There have frequently been countries where part of that nation has been occupied by a terrorist group, and we haven't ceased to recognise the country. Both Syria and Iraq had a long period where parts of those countries were being occupied and realistically controlled by ISIS. It didn't stop us from recognising and having diplomatic relations with those countries themselves.
We are being led by complete morons. The example he gives is Iraq, a country once had problems with terrorists, but we didn't stop recognising them. Syria, a country once had problems with terrorists, but we didn't stop recognising them. How is that alike to Palestine, a state that has never existed, that is governed by an elected group who are terrorists, suddenly getting recognition while the terrorists are in power? That's not tomatoes. Those are two completely different things. And one more before you have a shot at this. If you're going to recognise Palestine while Hamas are in place, what you're really saying is we will recognise Palestine while Jewish hostages continue to be held under the tunnels of Gaza. That's what he's saying, and that's disgusting.
And while also Hamas looks to seek to completely eradicate Israel off the map. I mean, that is in their charter. This has to be the most ridiculous argument, James, that I've heard so far for Palestinian statehood. If you go through, OK, you look at, say, the French president wants to recognise Palestine because he wants to see Israel and Palestine live in peace. Hamas doesn't want peace. The UK says it's because he wants Israel to commit to a two-state solution. Hamas doesn't want a two-state solution. Canadian Prime Minister said because a two-state solution has been eroded. Well, it's been eroded by Hamas, and now the Australian government wants to recognise Palestine, or likely will. Well, I don't really know why, but maybe it's because we can do it while Hamas is still governing. So there you go. That is the excuse. Please try and explain that one.
And you can see where the government's going, right? Anthony Albanese's being careful, but Penny Wong, Ed Husic, Tony Burke, they're all pushing this thing forward. So by the time we get to the UN Assembly in September,
they're ready.
No one will be surprised when Anthony Albanese suddenly says, we'll join the Canadians and the UK in recognising Palestine.
Yeah, they're buttering us up for it.
Totally. It's obvious.
Their thing is now, it's not a matter of when, if it's when. That's their excuse now. So